Hi Cancer, here's a general look at your solar chart for August 2013, and there's a lot going on in our skies over July and August this year, but more about that in a few minutes. For you in your personal solar chart, you are having quite a busy time actually. There's quite a lot of socializing, but also you being more active and clearer about stuff. Anything that was up in the air, anything that was sort of hanging fire, now you can really roll up your sleeves and get on with it. And if you're listening to this in July, probably around about when you're listening to it is when this kicks off. So until the 23rd, finances, goods, property, anything to do with your basic material security, the piggy bank, that's all likely to have your attention. And so your awareness will be centered around stuff that could be somebody else's stuff, not just your stuff. And then from the 23rd, the sun moves into a more outgoing, sociable, meeting, greeting kind of area, but also it's an area of education as well. More paperwork, more corresponding, more conversations in general. You probably getting your head around stuff, you probably running around more. Now Mercury for a long time has been in this same area, the area of information exchange, correspondence, doing stuff with IT, over the net, and having to be more informed or being the agent of information in some way. So communications equipment as well, that could have been more on your mind since around about the back end of May. This one's been here. Communications equipment, vehicles, travel, transport, all of that could have been emphasized and will continue to be emphasized up until the 9th of August when Mercury moves. But definitely social interactions in person, over the wires, that should all have been highlighted in you developing your people skills, your communication skills, and also your skills through the arts. Maybe for some of you anything to do with media, or maybe it's been about negotiations for you. Then Mercury moves between the 9th and 24th, tripping over my own teeth here. Between the 9th and the 24th, Mercury just skips through the next sign, and that is to do with the practical side of things, money, property, possessions, and you very much being aware of that side of life, that side of life which is about basic stuff, and you figuring out how to make the most of things, how to get the best deal, and also how to capitalize on assets, whether they are external assets around you or the internal ones that we all have, and that often go unnoticed and neglected. So blow the dust off, an old skill, or develop a new one, and recognize your natural gifts more. And then Mercury moves out of there from the 24th to the end of the month into this very outgoing, chatty area that the sun is in as well. So Mercury comes into that area, but also it's an area of education too, and there will be increased interchanges through because of information exchange, and also social connections as well, possibly more paperwork. Venus is in your communication sector. She tends to bring grace, flow, and fluency to how you're coming across with your communications, how well you're doing with your people skills. So that's a real plus. And it can make you seem to others more appealing, attractive, entertaining, convincing, or you could find yourself more in environments which are more entertaining, appealing, attractive, convincing, persuasive. Some of you could be in an environment which encourages your own creative self-expression, and this transit can bring warm, supportive relations with friends and acquaintances, but also with siblings or soul brothers and sisters. And if you want to settle a feud, or if you want to get a good deal on something, or you want to negotiate for something, then Venus in this sector here can really support that. And then from the 17th, Venus beams a friendly light right down into the root of your chart. This is your own solar house, your own solar sun chart house. I really am tripping over my teeth today. And this can manifest in various ways, that Venus's presence here. It can make you appreciate where you are, your point on the map, a location more, or it can help you to appreciate who the neighborhood, those in the community around you more, in the locality. Or it can be about family and family members, and you having a more kind of intimate or sort of harmonious time with those, and getting more access to the beauties of nature, embellishing your space inside, but also enjoying the space outside. And it's a great time to be bringing people into the home, so the home becomes a sort of sociable meeting place for people, but also you being the visitor, you being the guest outside the home. But definitely the connection with nature is the one for me, and you just putting yourself in places, getting out to places where you can really enjoy the scenery and all of the unconditional love, the constant flow of grace that is coming through nature. And so that one gets a gold star from me. And Venus balances wherever she goes, so this can bring a feeling of balance and harmony into family matters, and stability to you inwardly in your emotions. So that's a great one as well. Now, until the 28th, Mars is in your sign. So this is why I said you'd be very, very busy, or there would be lots of busyness going on around you, or both. And it means the need for you to be decisive and sort of take the bull by the horns, get active, whether you are in the mood or not. That's all increasing. It also brings more activity around you, and more demand from others around you, possibly, or if it's not a direct demand, then indirectly, and you just have to kind of duck and dive with all of the action and activity that's going on around you. Definitely the time to get the ball rolling on something, Cancer, or if not, keep up with the ball that's already rolling. But as Mars is about initiating things, then you have now permission to get more with the program, or get more dynamic or enterprising, physically get active, out of necessity or choice. Just do what needs to be done, whether this is in sort of to do with chores or tasks, or whether this is you finally getting clarity on something, and seeing the direction you want to go, setting your compass and just going there. And some of you will take up new health and exercise regimes at this time, or be plunged into situations which just demand more stamina from you, more leadership from you, or physical effort from you. It's very much an initiatory energy, Mars in your first house. Be aware that Mars can run you ragged, and sap your vitality, use up your time. So engineer, decide to design, to factor into your day, I should say, that space where you can just let it all go, and just put your feet up. I mean, seriously, because sometimes we do more by doing nothing, strangely. So maybe you just need to customize things to suit yourself better, but you will tend to have more stamina with Mars in your sign, and or if you've got Cancer rising in your first house, but that might not be on the date that I gave, from the date that I gave, because the rising sign dates are different to the sun sign dates. But overall, this is your opportunity to really improve things for yourself with your targets, goals, ambitions. And Mars doesn't like hanging around, so you shouldn't procrastinate. You should once you've slept on something and you feel that it's right in your gut, then go for it. But don't overstretch your energies. Don't be impatient. And then from the 28th, yes, you're going to feel the urge to take practical steps in whichever area, but very much you will be looking at how to improve things financially, how to get the most out of assets, to get to grips with that material, physical side of life. Now, we've got, as I say, quite a lot going on in the sky over July and August. It's very interesting. Last month I spoke about the Grand Trine alignment. This month I want to speak about the Grand Trine still there, but the T-square alignment, which is bolted onto the side of the Grand Trine. So we've got the Grand Trine, which is a great triangle of planets lining up with each other in the sky, but through Jupiter in your sign, you are the pivot here, Cancer. We've got another alignment, which is known as a T-square, as I would call it, a working triangle. So this is a triangular shape on the side of the Great Triangle. The Grand Trine triangle is very positive, supportive energy. It'll help you to be creative with your ideals and your aspirations and expand into new areas and things which are close to your heart. And you will learn to think bigger and become more enterprising. Have to be, really be thinking on your feet sometimes, but it's very, very creative and entrepreneurial. But with this other one over August, which is exact on August the 8th, but will be felt throughout the whole of the month, this is going to activate that rather sort of lazy, chilled, relaxed energy of the Grand Trine. So this means that you can do a lot with that potential of the Grand Trine, particularly for you, Cancer. And the T-square is going to be the catalyst and force the energy of the Grand Trine to move and apply itself to actually deliver. And it'll be through the tension inherent in this T-square or working triangle, as I would prefer it, that the sensitive Grand Trine energy becomes a wave of power. And you need to ride that wave. You need to, whether it's a water wave, as it would be with your sign being a ruler of the waters of the earth, but also it can be like an air wave or a sound wave, whatever kind of wave you like, is to ride that wave of power. And be grateful for this rather sort of tense, conflicting energy to be dovetailing into this very sort of positive, lazy energy of the Grand Trine, this great talent of the Grand Trine. So how well we use this opportunity is up to us, but it's always where we choose to put our attention, isn't it? So we either choose to be aware more of the tension, the hubble, bubble, toil and trouble, witch's brew side of it, or the superconductor of the positive energy side of it. So it's up to you. And as I say, the transit is exact on the 8th, and it will be felt most by those of you born towards the end of June and the beginning of July. And if you're listening to this in July, then watch out for round about the 28th, when Mars fleetingly could trigger this T-square on the Grand Trine in advance of Jupiter, although Jupiter is more or less there, just lining up for it on the 28th of July. And Jupiter is, yes, you may or may not know that Jupiter is in your sign now and will be there until next July. Jupiter, the great planet of expansion and potential abundance. And this is time for a real growth spurt in your life, Cancer. And things could really be taking off for you, right, over this next, well, no, it's probably about 11 months. And your interests will expand into new areas, and your empire will expand. So you'll discover much through those from different backgrounds, different belief systems, different ways of doing things, different slants on things. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get the feedback. Quite a learning curve for you, quite a learning curve. More travel or connection into those at a distance and foreign cultures is likely. Higher education could be part of the picture. Just try to avoid trusting to luck or overlooking important details and expanding too far, too fast, and then the bubble pops, because that's oh so easy to do with Jupiter. That tends to want to expand and expand and expand, and of course you have to expand from a strong base, a strong footing, a strong foundation, and then gradually expand. That's the ideal, of course. And learning through doing is a real key theme for you over this next nearly a year now. And you Cancerians born 28th of June to the 7th of July, or with 7 to 15 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most this month. Saturn is now in this very positive angle to your sun sign, underpinning everything to do with what I've just been saying about the growth spurt and the expansion of Jupiter over these coming months. And it means that you can pay more serious, consistent, nurturing attention to any of your creative projects, anything enterprising, anything to do with investments, even whether that's money, time, your heart, what you've invested, whatever you've invested, and it can really help you build slowly, gradually, step by step, build those structures in those areas there. And also, because nothing happens fast with Saturn, I always say that, but it's true. So just meet the criteria. Saturn doesn't like to be pushed, and will sort of flag up the faults and the cracks in the stone work, if you try to push that Saturn energy, because you've got to meet the adversities and the obstacles regularly as they come up with Saturn. She'll keep flagging them up for you, but she will also help you to build as well. Also, the area that Saturn is in highlights children, young ones, pets, and a romantic relationship also. So you working harder, centered around any of those areas there, and harder to set things up, harder to get things. But if you are steady, disciplined, consistent, then it can all go well. And you Cancerians born between the 25th of June and the 29th of July, with 4 to 8 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most this month. And that's it for August. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, then have a listen to the forecast for those. And also I update what the outer planets are doing on my website. So